So I wanted to read this post that I came across in my screenshots from Instagram. I try to declutter my phone by starting there in the screenshots, and I came across this post and it really led me to want to share with you guys and touch on a few things. Chaos serves a purpose. Misunderstandings serve a purpose. Life's imperfections serve a purpose. Trust in your soul story, not your egoic desires to maintain control. Allow every moment to initiate you into a new awareness of reality by trusting that all is occurring for your highest potential. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Brown Beauty TV. My name is Africa Brown, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for your always continuous support since day one. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to know when I post. By the way, these are the Brown Beauty 14-inch clip-in extensions, the Body Wave collection. I just want to have a moment of silence for the trueness that post just really embedded in my soul. It is a new year now, and I feel like that trust in your soul story is the reason why I decided to come back to YouTube and have a whole different strategy and rebranding focus. If you have been following me for a while, then you could see previously I literally just made a lot of videos that are archived public just to show the true, authentic realness of who I am. And a lot of the sound quality might be bad, a lot of the visual quality might be horrible, but I literally wanted to just reveal the time frame of how long I've been on YouTube and why I decided to come back. Lately, since I've been back on YouTube for a full year now, all of my content has been based around just daily vlogs, like day-to-day things, what I eat, what I do on the weekends outside of my 9-to-5 job, what I do in my spare time, like montages and things like that. Or every vlogger's subscribers deserves to see them in a different light, whether that be you are a fitness guru or you are selling something, products or what have you. I always feel like that in order for people to really connect with you, getting them to see your regular day-to-day and for like just kind of downloads information on your personality and just like, you know, things like that is what I like to see when I subscribe to people's YouTubes. I like to see their day-to-day. So when they do start rendering information, I am all ears, whether it is a haul from clothes, whether it's a Amazon haul or whatever have you. I am like 10 toes into the information that they have to share because I've watched them. I've seen their personality. I've seen them in different things. So I'm instantly always curious as to what else they have to say. Thus being said, that I want to kind of introduce another playlist avenue where I kind of do these sit down talks with you guys and just kind of fill you in on my life, fill you in on perspectives that I have had through wisdom and experiences that has really helped grow and develop me into a mature woman. Now that I am going into the last year of my 20s, I'll be 29 in February, and I'm having sort of an almost 30s crisis where I feel like, oh my God, when am I going to get married? When is my career going to take off and I just become this rich, stable person? And when am I gonna have it all figured out? When will I have that big house? Or feeling like I've already found my dream home? Will I stay in Minnesota forever? You know, why am I not married? Why don't I have kids? Like, I think every woman has that almost 30s moment of, where the fuck is my life going? Like, what is going on right now? And I am totally at that point, which is why I decided to share a time lapse of my 2017 through 2020 life, because it was such a horrific and monumental time in my life. I also wanted to make those videos that are archived public again, because there were videos where I shared my experience going to Zimbabwe and Africa, where I was taking my career on a more international level. If you have not seen any of those videos, feel free to go back and watch those, because they are very interesting, they're entertaining, and yeah, granted, I was recording everything on an iPhone, editing on a what's those things called? An iPad. Look, I don't even know what they call it anymore. Technology has transformed so much. I forgot that I was even editing in that way. So yeah, so I wasn't sure if my path was looking narrow or if it was becoming more broad. But as I go into my 30s, I'm realizing there's much more than just what I'm going to be doing for a living that makes me who I am. Like, I really wanted to detach myself from the cosmetologist, behind the chair hairstylist, instructor, tutorial based content. I really wanted to like reconstruct myself from that, because I felt like it was a part of me, but it wasn't all of me. And I think in the beginning, when I started to do my YouTube, I wanted to be all of me. I was very young starting it. I was very young in my career. And now that I've just had more experience in things, I realized that that's not the lane or the avenue that I want to continue to grow in, per se. Currently, I've been unemployed for almost a month. And my previous employer terminated me randomly, but I can't say that I didn't see it coming. I have a very entrepreneurial spirit. I'm someone that takes a job because I want to know the ins and outs. I want to have the experience on my resume, not necessarily to fully sustain my life, but to sustain a time in my life. And I think it took me a long time to understand that that's just the type of person that I am. But I also grapple with the idea of the struggles behind entrepreneurship. And because I want such a stable lifestyle, and because I love all the things that come with my lifestyle, that I do not want to give up. But of course, you know, entrepreneurship takes some sacrifices. And I think that I often grapple with the fact that entrepreneurship comes with sacrifices that I don't think I had the opportunity to make those sacrifices because of my upbringing and because of the ways that I've struggled. If you have watched my vlog about the time lapse from 2017 through 2019, and I am also a fond believer of limiting beliefs being the very reason why some people don't succeed. And I think the limiting beliefs that were placed on me that I have already negated out of my life have gotten me this far. But there's another level of far that I feel I want to get at that I just don't really understand right now what that looks like. So instead of me trying to manifest my way there or pray my way there, knowing that it'll come with some hardships. Every promise of God comes with some type of trial, some type of tribulation, that I felt like everything that I've ever prayed for has come true, but it always came with some hardships. So now I'm at the point where I'm just grateful for where I am. And I don't necessarily have a prayer in mind or a manifestation in mind that I'm trying to bring forth. Like, whatever God has for me is what I want for me. And in doing so, I need to pray to God for the emotional things that come with it. I need to pray more for the to sustain me mentally, physically, and emotionally for those endeavors, where before I would get into opportunities that I thought I really wanted, and then I would get in them and literally feel like crap in them, like in the most hardest place where I am literally listening to gospel music the entire ride to my job, on my lunch break praying for a change, or the next day just like dreading every single moment of what I'm doing and where I'm going. And initially, I would think that it was everything that I needed. It was everything I was supposed to be. It's supposed to happen because I prayed for it and God answered it. But like, he also showed me so much more in those seasons of wanting things and trying to manifest things through him. And it really comes with the heart posture that I feel like I am missing the point. I'm missing the point here because yes, the previous job that I just left, I left that job, leaving another job to get this job. And I thought that the job prior to getting this, my previous job, was going to be the greatest of them all. I felt like it had so many opportunities. I felt like it had so many benefits that I just resonated with. But then I got into the role and I hated everything. Hated my life, hated the people, hated the labor, hated the atmosphere, and I hated everything that came with it. And I was praying for God to eject me. And it didn't matter how much money I was making. It didn't matter what the benefits were. They just weren't enough to sustain me wholeheartedly. My current job as a beauty instructor at a cosmetology school was one that I also prayed for, considering that I became a licensed instructor in 2021, and I've only been able to put my license to use 2 times. And in those 2 times, I was let go of both of those positions, and I was only there for a number of months. I never exceeded to a year, and I'm like, why do I keep getting these somewhat amazing positions and then thereafter they just end up being the worst thing for me? And I think in this time frame that I have been unemployed, this is a time where I have asked God to call me. I have asked God to, make your plans clear to me so that I can move accordingly. I want to say 3 months ago in October, I was starting to feel as though God was asking more of me. He was asking more of my obedience. We moved into this new house over the summer, as you guys have seen in a few vlogs. We moved into this house. I got a car prior to moving into this house, which were things that I prayed for to just help me to feel more confident in myself and to create the environment that I loved, and to just really help erase a lot of those traumas that I felt limited me from sustaining myself and creating this environment. So I want to say in October of this year, 2023, I was starting to get those little tugs on my shoulder from God, and I started reading more. I started just investing more into my journaling and my prayer calling. I would wake up early in the morning and just like read and just kind of try to see what was going on. Why did God want me to adhere to something? So November comes around and things at my job started to get a little rocky. I was always getting pulled to the side and just all these other kind of things. The students were not taken to me too well, being a new instructor and having this authority over them. And, things just, I started to squint my eyes a little bit. Before one of my nail students graduated, she let me know of a salon that she was interested in going to once she graduates, because that's typically what you do. You start looking for a job when you have completed the program, so on and so forth. She shows me the website and she says, Africa, I think this is where I'm going to go once I graduate. And she is looking for a nail tech right now and X, Y, and Z. And it was a Black-owned salon. So I was like interested. I was very interested. So I did a little bit of research on this salon and who was the owner and things like that. And it was right in front of her as I was doing this research of where it was located and everything. And her salon was located in the city that I had just moved to this summer. I didn't give it much thought after that because, one, I was already working in a salon before it closed down. I was already working full time at this salon, at the school, so I wasn't really looking to leave it to jumpstart into something else. 3, I just know that a lot of salons that are Black owned do not have that level of projectiling my career that I am looking for. So I kind of was just like, eh. But I kept it in my back pocket because I wanted to visit it because it was in my town. So literally sometime before Thanksgiving, I just had in the pit of my stomach to reach out to this person and see what her rates are like for booth rental, and just to see what she has going on, you know. And I would see what she had. I called her and she was out of town one time, and she's like, yeah, but I'll be back at this time, whatever. I just so happened to drive by the salon on a random day just to see what a casual day at this salon looked like, to see just like what business is like, what is it next to, what is the businesses surrounding the salon, and you know, just stuff like that. I peeked in the window, the salon was closed, and it was like a regular day. I want to say it was like a Wednesday or something. It wasn't even like, it might have been a weekend. I actually don't know. So I was like, you know, just like, okay, interesting. Now, in this time, I wasn't really necessarily inquiring to work in her shop. I just wanted to inquire about kind of helping her elevate her salon if it wasn't already in an elevated state. Because the salon that I previously was working in, that I showed you guys in another vlog and a Get Ready With Me, where I gave you guys a tour where my friends and I went golfing, and it wasn't like that type of salon. So I just then again put it in my back pocket, like maybe I can connect with her at some other time, yada yada yada. The day that my job let me go, I went back to that salon and I met with that owner, and she gave me a tour of her salon. We started talking about future endeavors that she was interested in, and she was telling me how she wants to be an educator. And I was like, oh, like I have been in the education space for 3 years. I got my license in 2021, and currently I work at this beauty school, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my God, like I've been wanting to have my classes and teach CE courses for the longest. I just haven't had, you know, the resources to do so. And I said, girl, don't worry. Like I got you. Like I'll hook you up with this not-for-profit that I've been working with for 2 years. We can get your classes certified by the Board of Cosmetology, and everything will be all good. Like I got you. So in another vlog, you guys will see what that meeting with the not-for-profit and that stylist looked like, because I took you guys on a little vlog where I set that meeting up and we all spoke, and it went really well. I showed up to the meeting early because I'm so used to working with these girls, these older women. So I came and chit-chatted with them for a little while before the meeting actually started, and we just started talking about the industry and talking about things and all the things that are going on with it, and my experience and the job that I'm starting in a couple weeks, and you know, so on and so forth. And one of them mentioned to me how, you know, the industry is kind of in shambles, like it's a lot of bullshit going on. And I always knew that there was bullshit going on, but I always only thought it was bullshit going on in the Black community. I didn't think that it was bullshit going on in a more like broader spectrum. I just thought like for us, we were experiencing things that would prohibit us from growing, would just kind of give us all this slander that I see online about the professionalism and being uneducated and all this other kind of stuff. But sitting down with them really did put things into perspective. And leaving that beauty school also put things into perspective, because there was a lot of things that I noticed there also that I'm like, there's no real solution to this problem. Like, this is what it is. It's like a systematic thing that is affecting a lot of people, but there is no one really to change it. There's no one really fighting the legislation to say, hey, this ain't working out. Like, y'all need to figure out something else to do. Since I've been let go from that job, I have been doing nothing but going back and forth to the library, doing a lot of research on teaching methodology so that I can create a course outline and a PowerPoint to then be submitted to the Board of Cosmetology so that I can start hosting these classes with this not-for-profit in order to keep my license active and renewed. As I showed you guys in another vlog, you need 45 continuing education hours to keep your instructor's license active. 30 of those hours have to be teaching methodology. Now, when I got my instructor's license, teaching methodology wasn't really something that was talked about much. It wasn't how to. There was no criteria to go to when it comes to teaching methodology. But I will say that a 4-year university talks about teaching methodology way more than it does in a 800-hour course rendered to by another hairstylist that became an instructor. Thus how I got my certificate for instruction to then be licensed as an instructor. So 800 hours of someone teaching where I didn't necessarily learn how to teach. The research that I found in these books about teaching methodology was from a socio-economical standpoint. It was about just so many things that go on, classism, where education started from, and how Thomas Jefferson created tuition in universities. His first university was in Virginia. Like, all these things. And for so long, I beat myself up about not going to college. Like, every time I get into these situations, I'm like, why didn't I just go away why didn't I go to like a HBCU, or why didn't I go to, maybe like a community college or whatever? But as mentioned in my time lapse, my upbringing from high school on and even before that was not one that was conducive for me to see an educational journey. There was so many things that pivoted me in my home life that I had no thoughts, and no one was teaching me that if I want to be successful and if I want to sustain a future and a career, then I should go to school, or I should study in this major, or things like that were just not a thing. With reading these books and learning about the different dynamics of a classroom when it comes to students and when it comes to yourself being in front of these students, I think were a lot of the things that I wish I had known going into becoming a beauty instructor. Whereas when you are teaching cosmetology, you are doing the bare minimum of things. And they also let me know that this particular sector of the profession is decreasing because a lot of people aren't renewing their licenses, and they are letting them go simply because
there aren't any jobs for this role.
And it makes a lot of sense why there isn't any jobs for the role, because a lot of people don't really know what they're doing in the role. And when I watched a couple videos about cosmetology students, their experiences after they graduated during their program. I started just to dig deeper into what I am actually feeling. What am I hearing? What am I seeking here? I started to see just a lot of what they were saying being very true in their experience, because it was also my experience. It was my experience as an instructor. It was my experience also as a student. And I want to say that, like, I thought that the whole picture was just around prejudice, racial profiling type of things, being that a lot of black students didn't get to learn how to do sew-ins or didn't get to learn how to do quick weaves or this and that, and things that go on in our community that they can learn and take back to their communities and apply the knowledge. It's much bigger than that, because you don't see a lot of black women in the space to know that you can elevate beyond behind the chair. Like, I didn't know that this was a thing until I moved here, because I had never seen it. So before she walks into the meeting, we are still kind of talking about the frustrations of the industry and how to kind of just get over the hump and do what you got to do to get the job done, even if it isn't neat, even if it isn't perfect, even if it doesn't make sense. And I just started to think, like, once I got back to my car, I just kind of sat in a weird headspace of, so what does this mean for my career? If there's no jobs for my instructor's license, why am I putting so much energy into renewing the license? And if I were to even move to another state or another city, what is the rules and regulations for teachers there? Because every licensed instructor's license expires every 3 years. If my license is only valid for 3 years and that's the duration, that means the turnover is high, because no one is going through the means of having the teaching methodology, continuing education hours needed to keep their license active. Which made me think, when I got to my job over the summer, how there was no one there that had been there prior to us working there. There was a whole new batch of instructors when I started working there. There was no one previously working there anymore. So it's like, there's a lot to say here about what's going on, and no one's really saying it. So yeah. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Please leave a comment. Let me know what industry you're in and how it's affecting you, if it's affecting you. What is your passion? What is your desire outside of what you do for work that has caused you to want to tell your soul story, that has caused you to want to make peace with things that are no longer serving you? Also, let me know the very moment that initiated you to a new awareness and your highest potential, and how you're going about doing that. How are you discovering that lane? How are you putting forth that effort to be more of that? And I hope you guys like this new segment of my channel. Thanks. Make sure you hit the notification bell for the next video, and I will see you guys later.